So what's up, y'all? In this video I'm gonna be talking about my art, you feel me, and why it's important to, you know, take your art with you, feel me, travel with your art, have some portable supplies, whether it's a paintbrush. You know, they got the watercolor paintbrushes, you can get them from Walmart. It's like, you know, this big, and you can add the water to it so you can squeeze however much water you want onto your art, and that's something that you will always be able to take with you. And then it comes with like a palette of different colors. You know, so I think it's important to always just have some type of portable version of what it is that you do, some type of portfolio with you, some type of something that you created that when you look at it can give you some type of inspiration and remind you of, you know, who you are, your individuality, similar to just like what the star represents. Like if you have a star with you or you see stars, it's just a reminder to yourself about you being an individual or whatever. So basically I'm gonna be talking about my art, and I got this booklet I would like to show. This is a booklet that I have made that I've started, you know, to take with me. And based off of taking it with me, I've been able to see just like the benefits of, you know, taking your art with you, like I said, with a paintbrush or you know, an actual piece that you created, or let's say it wasn't a physical actual piece you already created, but you just make sure you always have paper, make sure you always have pens, make sure, you know, just like a business type of thing where you're always ready to be able to express whatever that is, you know, because your art is what is helping you, you know. Okay, so this is the art I have today, and it's basically yo, you know how people be having money and they be flexing and they try to show they spread. It's my spread, you know? But now, like, this is basically like a city. I always draw cities. Like when I draw or paint something and then I look at it later, it always just looks like a city to me. It looks like you know, like organisms and cells and blood vessels and cities and buildings and just like different travels we've all have experienced throughout this life, especially being in a human body. And speaking of that, I feel like it's very, very important, if you as an individual, like especially if you are a human that chose to be in a woman body, you got to make sure your emotional intelligence is intact and you know how to control your emotions, especially when you're around other people, because however you are inside, whatever you got going on, it sets the tone for the environment, especially if you live in that particular neighborhood, right? So if you live in a particular neighborhood and the women in that neighborhood are, you know, poor, broke, violent, whatever, the neighborhood is going to represent that, you know, because, you know, whatever. But anyway, that's besides the point, right? But the reason I bring that up as far as emotional intelligence is because this is why bringing your art with you is a good reminder of not only your individuality, but also just a reminder of like your original purpose for doing the art anyway, or your purpose in doing what it is that you do every day. I'm gonna show my art again just so you can see, because I feel like, you know, I showed it pretty fast and it's starting to get windy out here and I'm on my break from work. But this is like the first page or the last page, or, you know, however you look at it. And I also seen, one time I went to a museum in DC and they had these different art books, and it looks very similar to this, where people would just create different ways, but it would be like a pop-up version or some type of display with their art, something that somebody would have to be able to travel through in order to get to know it and see it and see the full extent and the length of it. You know what I mean? So like, this is it. I'm gonna just do a close-up. And I also use, so this right here is from like a previous painting I did with a different art book, and I just glued it on here because I'm really into layers. Most of this is watercolor, but this part right here is acrylic. And I used some pencils and markers as well in order to outline it. But the first step I did was using watercolor. And then after I got the watercolor and I dried, I let it marinate, you know, I looked at it again. I wanted to add more colors, but I wanted it to have the texture color with it, so that's why I used the acrylic. And then once it dried, I was like, I want more textures and I want more layers. So that's when, like right here, I glued also from previous art pieces. Right here I glued, right here I glued, right here. And so that's been like the style of how I've been developing and transforming like my communication when it comes to art, is by, you know, transforming how I'm utilizing layers. Like layers can be color pencil, watercolor, art, acrylic and stuff. Or it can be when you combine physical art like this and you combine it with like visual art or like digital art, whatever. Like there's different ways you can, like I can, you know, like this don't have to be like the what I added onto here, right here, like this don't always have to be paper. Like this could be something else. Like I could make some type of sculpture art, or I can make some type of bead art, or I can use something that's symbolic, and whatever the case may be, and I can glue it onto here and add it as far as layers. So I've just been experimenting a lot with layers. I'm gonna show y'all the spread again. This is what it looks like in this, and I haven't done the back yet. I like to do the front and the back of things, especially when it bleeds through. But this didn't necessarily bleed through that much. It's like real good quality paper, and it's watercolor. So I didn't see on the other side. Even when I used markers, like this is this marker is the alcohol markers and also the paint markers as well. But yeah, I think it's a good idea as far as bringing your art with you and letting it transform you, and it just being your protection and your talisman and all that stuff. Also has to do with the colors. You know, if you know the meaning and the reasoning behind each color, you know, when you look at it, it'll give you that inspiration. Like, you know, it's like your own art can train your subconscious mind. You feel me? Like your own art is what can do that. You feel me? And so I just wanted to show that. You feel me? I'm at the ocean right now on my break, and I just wanted to, you know, show my art. You feel me? Because I'm an artist. Fuck all these other jobs. I'm a motherfucking artist. I'm doing anything else for art. You feel me? I'm coming here because art. You feel me? Like, coming to work because of art. I'm talking to you because of art. Like, nah, but anyway, that's just what I wanted to, you know, show during my my break from work right now. And yeah, so this is the views. Let me show y'all the views before I hang up. Okay, so this is what's behind me. This is the ankles right here, and this is Condal. This is not my favorite beach. This is my least favorite beach to come to, but it's good to be able to have the views in general. Because it's good to just be able to go to the ocean real quick. You feel me? Like, on your motherfucking break. This is the type of shit I dreamed about, yo. But anyway. You see other people work here too. They be coming for their break probably. You work here. Like if you live in this area, if you live in Puerto Rico and stuff, and you see somebody in all black, they probably work at a restaurant. Oh, this is one thing I'm gonna cover too before, depending on how my battery is.